In this video, let's talk about the bullish Bitcoin bounce and how I'm going to play it, plus the current news cycle we are in and what lurks on the horizon. So thanks for joining us, and check out the pinned comment down below for today's video sponsor, crypto.com. Today's video sponsor is crypto.com. I utilize this app almost every day. I use it as my fiat off and on ramp. You can simply purchase with a debit or credit card, or even better, complete a bank transfer for absolutely free. You can also use their in-app staking service, the Earn feature, to earn a passive income on your cryptocurrency. And make sure you check out their Visa debit card. I utilize this for 2% cash back on my purchases, and I also get a full rebate on my Spotify subscription. You can sign up via the link down below in the pinned comment and utilize my referral code cryptotube, all one word, for a nice bonus. So we're starting here. How are we going to play the bounce? Well, essentially Pentoshi posted this, all about buying low and selling high into the various supports and resistances we currently have on our setup. Buying down in the support region, the mid 30Ks, and then selling coming into the resistance at the yearly open. And on top of this, he's also posted a chart here on the total crypto market cap, and he's suggesting that most altcoins actually have a dead cat bounce at this point. And since there is no structural break of the lower high and lower lows that have been coming in, and capping it off with the less favorable for longs overall. This is the total crypto market cap. Lower high, lower high, lower high, and putting in lower lows as well. So coming into around $2 trillion as of right now, another lower high in the making here. So a continuation of this downtrend. So this means for most altcoins, we're just going to be pushing up into previous resistances and in all likelihood having a rejection point. So this plays into the argument that freeing up some additional optionality and selling some of your altcoins may be the best move. This is what I've started to do as we've moved very quickly from the low 30s into the mid 40s here. It's been a heck of a journey. I wasn't expecting it to hit this kind of level so soon. We wicked up to around 45.5K just yesterday. We're currently sat at around 44. And so here is the level of resistance between this kind of 44 and the 46K region, which is the yearly open. And so you can see that the prices are starting to really slow down at this point. We've hit our first bit of resistance, and now is kind of wait and see whether we come down and fill some of these gaps down here. And one of the key notable areas here is the 40.7 level, which is this white line here with a lot of confluence from previous supports and resistances. And there is also a CME futures gap as well at 40.7, which is likely to be filled at some point. So looking at this data, it's likely we're going to get a rejection at some point around here, whether it's today, tomorrow, or on the weekend, or even a week from now. We're not sure. No one actually knows, but this is where I'm implementing a strategy to move out of some of my altcoin positions through this period, freeing up a bit of cash for later deploying into other altcoins I am now a bit more bullish on, having done some more research as of late. We'll go into a little bit of that later on in this video, but as we've probably felt in the market over the last 24 hours, a lot of FOMO creeping in, people buying into the market at a late point here, and those who have been trading from the lows here taking profits. So there is going to be quite a bit of resistance in the current range we are in. But what am I kind of selling? Well, I'm selling the kind of altcoins that I've lost a little bit of hope for. I've been holding for some months now during a downtrend, and this was the bounce I'm looking for to sell them into. Of course, I didn't sell stuff when it was down here. I've made that mistake previously, not going to do that again. We always do get a bounce, and this looks like a pretty strong one. And this is such a fast move up that you can't really trust it to not break down just as quickly as it did break up. And so adding some more dollars into the account at this point is pretty sensible in my opinion, and a strategy that I am playing out here. Of course, I am not selling certain altcoins that have big catalysts coming up. For example, Superfarm. So Elio Trades posted this earlier. This week, the party begins. We've also got a little bit more insight from Discord here. So essentially, we're going to have the Imposters game launching and the marketplace going live very soon as well. So the super token from reading this is going to be in high demand. Whitelist mint will be exclusively available in the super token. And he says to make sure to have coins on ETH, not on an exchange by the end of Feb. Pay your super, get an NFT. So this is the kind of thing, there's a price catalyst clearly for the super token. I will be holding that until this event plays out. We can see what kind of pumpage we get from this and what benefits holding the super token going forward for the likes of the marketplace. If there's going to be a revenue share component, well, that will be rather interesting and will affect my decisions going forward. So I've been currently weighing up different altcoins individually and seeing which ones am I less bullish on. Let's start to get rid of these ones earlier. Some of the other ones, let's hold for a period, see what happens with these kind of things, and then pretty much holding on to all of my blue chip assets. So another cause of concern in the market right now is the amount of leverage exposure. So this is the global open interest chart from Crown's crypto trading app. And as you can see, we've come from around $9.9 billion of open interest around 2 weeks ago to now up over 12.14 billion. And every time we've peaked out at around 13.5, 14 billion, there's been a nice correction in Bitcoin's price. And so we're kind of hurtling towards that. And so it would not be too much of a surprise to see this just continue spiking up. And then we get that rug from the market. The exchanges all make a fortune as liquidations come in for those over leveraged traders. On top of this, Crypto Ed says this: I'd be surprised if Bitcoin and ETH just keep going without any correction in the coming 24 hours. And then a good comment as a reply: synthetic pump before the CPI data, before Biden's executive crypto order, and pumping the open interest and leverage ratio exactly to the levels for a massive liquidation cascade yet again. It does kind of feel like a big setup is being played here, and I don't really want to be on the receiving end of that. So let's just go through some of the bullish stuff in the market right now. You're seeing this news cycle being very positive for crypto. 2 weeks ago, everything was negative, doom and gloom, and now we're just getting the whole media spin of everything being rosy. So first and foremost, Bitcoin will reach 200K in the second half of 2022. FS Insights says, and ETH could top 12K as well. So pretty good stuff there. KPMG have just started to add Bitcoin and ETH to their balance sheet. They did not disclose how much of either of these assets, but very bullish news that one of the big four accounting firms is actually adding crypto to the balance sheet. And we know the accounting implications are obviously quite difficult, hence there's been not that much uptick apart from MicroStrategy in adding crypto to the balance sheet. But clearly, if one of the big accounting firms is doing it, that opens the floodgates potentially. This is good for the long-term institutional adoption case. But again, the timing of this is a little bit suspicious in my opinion. On top of this, Wells Fargo crypto is like internet in the late 90s, nearing its hyper adoption phase. And within this, they're drawing parallels between the adoption curve of the internet versus crypto, charting a nice path towards rapid exponential growth continuation. And it says the bank believes crypto may have reached an adoption inflection point that bears resemblance to where the internet was back in the 90s. So overall, we're seeing the fear and greed index move towards a more greedy state. We're actually at a neutral point right now. We just go down here. So 2 weeks ago, we were at a 12. And now we're up to a 48 read as of right now. If I just pull the screen over a little bit. So you can see we've gone from 12 to 48 in just 2 weeks. This is the irrational exuberance of this market. It is very bipolar at times, and I just don't think it's sustainable to move up that quickly in such a short time frame. So I think over the coming days, we'll have a nice opportunity to continue to DCA back out of the market into more optionality, i.e. cash, and then look to redeploy at lows yet again with some of these hurdles coming on the horizon. So we have Biden's anti-crypto scaremongering threatening to impose surveil and control on all Americans. This is a pretty good article from Heritage. The key takeaways here: last week, Biden's administration announced an upcoming executive order to coordinate anti-crypto rules across government agencies. And even if you don't own or care about crypto and inflation, the much wider issue is what policymakers are using the scapegoat to push a full-blown surveillance state. It's literally becoming communist China in the Western world. And then finally, we must all stand strong against a China-style financial totalitarianism, whatever the excuse this week. So we're expecting this order to come through in the next week or so. And this is a potential speed bump in the road. And this could be highly negative if they want to put KYC on all MetaMasks, for example, or something totally crazy. I wouldn't put it past this government. So this is the kind of stumbling block in the horizon that we should have our sights on whilst all the bullish news narratives are coming out. You need to have a focus on what is to come and position yourself accordingly, because this is the kind of news narrative that could produce a news cycle that is used to dump the overall markets. On top of this Thursday we have US inflation data. So investors are likely to price for more aggressive rate hikes if the number comes in stronger than we expect. The current expectation is around 7.3% year on year as an overall median estimate. So if it comes in with an even hotter print, this boosts the likelihood that there's going to be a 50 basis points rate hike in March and potentially even more hawkish tones from the Fed. We've had a little bit of a quiet period here. We know the next Fed FOMC meeting is in March, but now again we have another news catalyst and an event that could potentially send us lower. Obviously the inverse is also true. If we have a very low print, then of course this would be seen as more bullish, but I'm trying to think through all eventualities in the marketplace right about now. So looking through the top cryptos by categories over the last 24 hours, most things are flat or down just a little bit. No major movers in here. The meme tokens are having another good day. If you look at the biggest gainers here, some huge ridiculous gains once more. So again, are they trying to pull in the retail investors potentially? I think so, but I've got a little bit of a tinfoil hat on at this moment in time. Let's have a look at a key coin here. So one that's performed very well generally is Matic. Now you can see it's moved into an area of resistance here. So off the lows, we actually printed candle to candle, roughly a 33% gain in just 16 days there from that low point. So a nice pump up. So it just makes sense, in my opinion, to take some profits from these kind of big moves as we don't really know what's coming in the future. And this is a heck of a return in a very short period of time. As you can see, the $2 level here is a point of resistance. And there is also a descending channel, which isn't looking too good right now, which kind of lines up perfectly there as another point of resistance. So we could be chopping in this kind of motion by here. So that's the kind of thing I'm looking at for my altcoins. A lot of them are moving in a very similar pattern right now as they typically do, and most of those have just pushed into a resistance point and are starting to be rejected from that. So without Bitcoin moving up higher yet again, we're probably going to see further downside for them at this first key critical area for Bitcoin. So overall we moved to around 43, 44, 45k. This is a point of resistance. The next point of resistance around 46k, the yearly open, and this is the kind of region that I think is, even for the optimistic investor, somewhere that you want to be looking to take profits. So currently been researching a load of revenue-based tokens. I've created myself a little portfolio here on CoinGecko. We'll do some more videos on some of these coming up, but essentially I want to hold assets that actually pay me to hold them due to the fact if we're going to chop quite a lot during this year, which looks quite likely, a lot of political uncertainty, etc. Well, then holding assets that have a revenue share component, in my opinion, is more sensible than holding ones that do not. So this is my kind of plan right now, to sell into the resistance and then buy up some of these revenue sharing assets back down at supports if we get a rejection. And I do have Terra's UST stablecoin as one of my coins to invest in more heavily due to the fact the Anchor protocol 19.5% APY is going to be sustained. As it looks right now, there is another $450 million potentially coming here with this new proposal to boost that yield reserve. So throughout a period of chop, to get 19.5% on stables looks a damn good option. And just taking this slowly from here and making assessments as we reach critical points in the charts is what I'm going to be doing. So I hope you found this episode helpful. This is just what I'm looking to do right now and what I've started to implement. This is not financial advice, just sharing with you my intentions and hoping you have some good takeaways from this that maybe you can think about for your own portfolio. As ever, thank you for the continued support. Make sure you like the video and check out that pinned comment down below for crypto.com. It will help me out, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.